I'm just like, if you're not pissed off right now, then you should be. As a person of color, as a woman, you should be pissed off. How the rest of the world is trending, how the rest of the world treats women, okay? This is not it. This is not it. And it's never been it. And I don't know if it'll ever be it. You know what I'm saying? Because this can never be a utopia. A lot of humanity is just full of shitty people. That's just the gist of it. Hello, YouTube. I'm in a bit of a mess here. Quite literally.
Wow.
I've got a big pile of clothes that I've been meaning to fold. They've been sitting here for how many weeks now? I don't know. But yeah, I decided maybe I'll try something different. I will do my laundry while also doing something for my YouTube because, you know, kill two birds with one stone. Got too much shit in life to do to be just doing one, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never gonna get the bills paid with my YouTube anytime soon, so sorry guys. You'll be watching me doing chores.
I don't want to get demonetized.
Today's topic, society, has always been dystopian. Society probably will always be dystopian. What's dystopian about society? Some of y'all might be asking. I don't know, look around you. Try putting yourself in the place of an animal stuck in animal agriculture in a slaughterhouse factory where they can barely move in their pens, where babies, literal babies, are dying for our enjoyment. 15-minute enjoyment. I don't know, some of y'all might eat slower, some of you might eat faster. Who cares? The moral of the story is society has always been dystopian. What makes it even more dystopian are the people unwilling to hear you, like your family, the people closest to you, the people that you thought you knew. You'd think that since you came out a rational person, the people that you grew up with must also be rational people, right? But no, veganism will turn any rational appearing person into an irrational person. That's my quote of the year. I'm gonna stick with that, and it just rings true for a lot of people that I've come across within life. It'll turn any rational person into an irrational person. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Suppose there were aliens who were sort of sentient plants, okay? And they're coming to visit Earth. Earth was in their tour guide, the tour catalog, because Earth, they know, had rainforests and a huge plant biodiversity. And so they just want to see what's going on here. And these are aliens that live off of sunlight. And on their ship, they just have lamps that they lay in, and that's where they get their energy. So they've never killed anything in their entire lives. The idea of killing something to survive is like completely foreign to them. So they arrive at Earth, and they see people who kill animals to live, but they don't really understand animals, okay? But they do understand plants, okay? Plants are their brethren. So they find another category of humans that exclusively kills plants for their survival. They would freak out, okay? They would say, what do you do? What? These are our people. They're just sitting there innocently gathering sunlight. They can't even run away from you. And what are you doing? You're cutting them down and you're eating them. Not only that, you are harvesting their reproductive organs specially to be consumed. The flowers, the nuts, the berries, the all of this. They would just freak. And they'd continue to watch, and they'd look at people shopping in Whole Foods, and they'd see people in the produce aisle as infanticide. Because what are they doing? They're specially buying baby carrots, baby spinach, baby artichokes, baby eggplant, bean sprouts. The most barbaric living things on Earth would be the humans who are harvesting plants to be eaten.
Who I used to respect as a scientist. I mean, I'm sure he knows what he's talking about science-wise, but his credibility kind of just got thrown out the window when veganism was brought up as a topic to him, and his response was, well, what about the aliens? What if aliens came to this planet and they were plant aliens and they saw what you were doing to plants and they wouldn't like it? It's not a rebuttal to anything. It's not grounded in facts because we have yet to find plant aliens. And even if they did exist, they would be mad at the animal eaters for having a two-step process. You know, less plants would be eaten if we just ate them ourselves instead of feeding them to the animals and then eating the animal. We kill more plants feeding them to the animals, and I don't know why that logic seems to surpass most meat eaters, but here we are. I'm not calling it common sense anymore because it's not common sense anymore, okay? The common sense has been gone. I don't think there's just no such thing at this point. If it was common sense, most people would not. The faith in humanity is dwindling. As you can see, it's been dwindling. Society has always been dystopian. And if I stand here long enough, I'm not gonna actually get any of these clothes done. So again, you're doing chores, we're talking. I ain't got time to do one and one, you know? We'll put them both together and get them done. Normally I would be listening to music doing this, but you're lucky that I am feeling motivated enough today to talk. I sent a text to the family group chat today. No, family will not even watch this video, so it's okay if I throw them under the bus because they don't know it. They don't know they're getting thrown under the bus. Maybe I will. I'm like the type that has trouble talking and doing things at the same time, so we'll see how good this gets. As I already said, sent a text to the family group chat today about the impacts of global warming, climate change, and how collapse is imminent. And I'm sorry, this even upsets some of you, but yes, collapse is around the corner because what we are doing as a society, as a collective humanity, is unsustainable. Oh, but overpopulation is a myth, they say. If everything was dispersed properly, then we wouldn't have these issues. People wouldn't be starving, wouldn't have so much food waste, yada yada. Yes, that is true. But population in itself has more dire consequences than that. We have environmental impacts, which is the biggest one, which is why, again, we are dealing with climate change in the first place, because of the environmental impacts of population growth. Where was I going with this? Population growth or overpopulation is not a myth in that stance. Someone today on Reddit tried to use sources or information to try to convince me that animal agriculture is not an environmental problem without actually talking about the effects on the environment. It uses up, some say as low as 50% of the arable land that goes to animal agriculture. Some other sources say 70%, but it is the leading cause of deforestation, of biodiversity loss, many of things. As that whole quote in The Lion King goes, look beyond what you can see. Really do please look beyond what you can see, because it's not just there at face value. No, a lot of these things we have to dig to find out. It's not just bad for the animals. It is not just bad for the environment. It's also potentially bad for your health. Dairy, like literally, a majority of the world's population is lactose intolerant. But for some reason, people will die. They'll die eating cheese. They'll die for it. I mean, like, I just can't give up cheese. But even I have lactose sensitivity. Probably can digest it, just always made me uncomfortable, made me feel sluggish, slow, and unwell after I had it. And I always just, like, after having dairy, I would feel like, damn, this wasn't really that worth it. But yeah, I had a friend who was like deathly lactose intolerant. Okay, maybe not deathly, but every time she had some cheese or some milk or something, she'd be running to the bathroom. She'd be telling me about how terrible that experience was and about like how the dairy had messed her up. And I don't know, I didn't click back then, but I was just like, oh, you know, like she's just wants to enjoy dairy, like, so be it. But now with the environmental implications, the health, and of course animal welfare, it's really a pointless endeavor. Why are you forcing something that doesn't work? I know vegan cheese doesn't do it for a lot of you, but like, it's not doing it for her either, apparently. Her taste is making her suffer for like the rest of the day, just for a piece of cheese, for some milk, for some ice cream. Like, it really is not worth it for her. The one thing I don't get is that lactose intolerant people, out of all of the people who should not be consuming dairy, it would be them. But they keep trying to force something that doesn't work because they want to keep fitting in with the rest of society, don't want to be left out. Everybody's eating ice cream and freaking cheese. And people bring it from a health perspective, like, oh yeah, like, vegan cheese isn't even all that, like, nutritionally, it doesn't have all that substance, like, it's not good for you. Like, who the hell eats cheese for health, for well-being? And I know that, yeah, big dairy will, like, try to push that narrative that, yeah, drink milk. Got milk is good for you. It's got protein, it's got calcium. Calcium absorption from freaking milk and cheese is not even all that great. The hormones. And so a lot of lies that they'll try to tell you, to sell you this thing and tell you that you need it. But people don't need lactose. How did I go on this whole tangent? I only folded like one towel this whole time. But yes, I was talking about how things we are doing in this day and age are unsustainable. Whether or not you agree with the philosophies of veganism or anti-natalism, this trajectory that we're on is not sustainable. Full stop. Guess who had a rebuttal or just anything, any acknowledgement whatsoever to my whole post in reference to collapse? Nobody. It's just like, I didn't post it in the first place. It's called willful ignorance, and I see it everywhere. And my own freaking family, people around me, majority of this planet, just going about their day, consuming yada yada for the sake of consumption. Sure, some of these things we consume, we need, like groceries. Nobody needs to be getting new clothes every freaking week. Nobody needs new jewelry, yada yada. Like, again, majority of this stuff, at least here in Western countries that we're buying, are not a necessity at all. Children are not a necessity. Animal products are not a necessity for the vast majority of people. Yes, ex-vegans are a thing, and they'll claim, oh, I did it for my health because my health was declining. Like, omnivores don't have deficiencies left and right, mostly in vitamin D. When I was eating meat, I had an iron deficiency. So, no, the vegan diet is not always the root of your problem, but people wait for things to flare up so that they can blame it on their diet and go back into assimilating into this ever so natural society, right? Because eating meat is natural. It's natural, guys. It's the food chain. Just let it happen. Like, any of these people saying let it happen would just lie down and die as a bear tears apart their body. Like, the only reason the animals let it happen is because they are incapable of fighting back. You don't see us out here freaking slaughtering lions and bears, because that would be problematic for the slaughterhouse workers. Not that them working there in the first place isn't problematic for them, because they end up with all sorts of injuries. Their mental health crashes working in such an environment. If you've seen any footage of basically what it looks like, it's always so dimly lit. Like, the vibes aren't it. Okay, it's sad, it's disgusting looking, it's dirty. I'm sure smelling feces and other animal waste isn't something you look forward to smelling when you get up in the morning, no? Plenty of reasons to go vegan, but not many reasons to not be, other than because I can, because I want to, or I'll miss the taste of meat so much and yada yada. It's all just excuses. Either you care or you don't care, is what I try to tell my sister all the time. When she tries to have some sort of excuse or rebuttal about, I need it, I'm just like, just say you don't care. Don't waste your breath, it's okay. I get it. Most of the world doesn't. That's why we're here. That's why collapse is right around the corner. collapse is imminent. I guess karma does kind of exist in a way, because no, it's not the animals getting back at us. It's the planet for what we've been doing to it for hundreds of years now. Wow. Throwing out lots of carbon into the air, lots of methane, which is worse, even though it stays in the atmosphere for 20 years versus carbon taking hundreds, thousands of years to get out of the atmosphere. It does a lot more damage in a shorter amount of time. Methane comes from the permafrost that is now being melted. It also comes from the billions of animals, mostly the large ones like cows, cattle, sheep, lambs. I lost my train of thought. But meat eaters won't want to recognize that. Some of them will say, oh, but regenerative farming and the fact that beef can be carbon neutral since the grass ends up sucking up all the carbon and methane that this cattle generates anyways, right? No. Most of you probably already know the environmental impacts of meat. And if not, then I guess this is a sad introduction to it, because I'm not very good at explaining scientific things. And a lot of other people can explain it much better than me. Eating ourselves into extinction or something, that was the first one that I watched. That, like even before I went vegan, had me actively like reducing my animal product consumption. There are lots of other resources. What I've learned has a video on it trying to claim that meat isn't bad for the environment like we think it is. 'Twas debunked. And probably easily. I think he was also being funded by like some meat company or something. So of course he wants to make it sound good. Of course, Big Meat is trying to tell you that your actions are not bad. Saw one comment saying that people love to hear good news about their bad habits. And that is proven true every day. Every freaking day. No surprise that nobody in the family group chat even responded to my whole message. Probably didn't even read the article that I linked. And I keep trying to tell people this is not stuff that I'm pulling out my ass. It's factually true. Science is on my side, and I'll scream into the void with pride. Is science always changing? Sure. But the climate scientists that have been freaking sounding the alarm for years now are starting to lose hope. Most of them probably aren't even hopeful anymore. I think the article that I shared today was like 6% of scientists or something are now only like feeling hopeful about this. And the majority of them are probably we gonna keep trying to educate people, but this society, humanity, the greatest species on this planet, is fucking it up. And I don't think it's gonna change anytime soon. We're gonna wait for it to be on our back porch, front porch, whatever side of the porch you want, right outside our houses before we start acknowledging it. And Republicans will do anything but acknowledge climate change. MTG is saying that this was planned by the Democrats because they have so much power, right? That we haven't been able to pass much while Biden's been in office, while Obama's been in office. They've got so much power that they were able to overturn Roe v. Wade. Oh wait, that was not the Democrats. And people will do anything but look at the facts, or actually read them, acknowledge them, anything but. So, my family is a reflection of the greater population. The only thing they responded to was me mentioning Hurricane Milton, because they're in Florida, and for the second time in a month, Category 5 hurricane is headed to Florida. It went all the way up north the last time. Helene fucked up North Carolina. Some people there are hearing that they're not even gonna get power for the next 5 months. That's fucking crazy. 5 months with no power in this day and age. And I don't know what exactly the circumstances are for why like it'll take them so long, but I think they're living in like the mountainous parts of North Carolina, probably harder to repair things up there. But regardless, like, it's bad. It's getting bad. Again, and I'm sure these people still will not, like, even think about climate change. Because it's a myth, right? 2 giant-ass hurricanes back-to-back coming up the same area. It's gotta be planned by climate change. But no, it's planned by a political party that apparently has a lot more power than we give them, even though we can't pass fucking anything. Even though most Democrats are shaking in their boots during this very election because there is no reason things should be this close. Democrats are not perfect. Liberals have their issues for sure. Like, there are extremists on both ends. It just seems like a lot more of the extremists are on the right. And there's gotta be something like legitimately wrong with you. Or, you know, you're just a grifter and you're writing this to make money and publicity. But like, anybody who genuinely thinks that Trump is going to help them, being either poor or middle class, you're dead wrong. His policies say the opposite. He's not even going to try to help the economy coming up. Like, I don't know why it is so important for him to be president of the United States again. Like, does it give him more money? Because I know that I ended up paying more taxes than him when he was in office. It's probably just power. It's probably just the fact that power makes men, mostly men, feel good. It never screamed like a good option for me. And hi, Marmar, if you're still watching, which you're probably not, because I don't know, you don't like to be informed. Please don't vote for him. I am begging you, okay? He doesn't care about your uterus. I remember we had like all these conversations about abortions and how women should be able to get them. Well, this man that you are lighting up behind got rid of that option for a lot of women. Okay? And to this day, is still bragging about it. Do not believe his wife when she says that she cares about this shit. She is too late. Too fucking late. The damage has been done. Okay? I've been angry for a long time. Way before a freaking child had to cross state lines to get an abortion because she was raped. So if you think that you are making your life better by voting for this man as a woman, you are going to be very disappointed. Or maybe you don't care, you know? Maybe just because your boyfriend is for him and he's like, I don't know, convinced you to be delusional about it, and you think that because he thinks that it must be a good idea. I don't know. Some of y'all need to think for yourselves. And a lot of you are not doing that, and that's why we keep ending up in these situations, because people are not thinking for themselves. They're thinking as like a hive mind making bad, terrible decisions. Back to the point of society has always been dystopian. I know people say that this is the best it has ever been. They probably not wrong, at least in most, circumstances. Women have more rights nowadays. I said more. It's not perfect. Gay people have more rights. And I'd like to think that at least like Gen Z overall believes that being gay is okay, that there's nothing wrong with it, and that people should be able to love whoever they want to love, regardless of your background. I feel like Gen Z is definitely a lot more liberal in that regard, and that we believe gay people deserve to be happy too. But as you can see with a trend in politics in Europe, all over the world, okay, some places have just always stuck to being far right, like the Middle East, always oppressing women. It's being oppressive to anything that thinks outside of their box. Anybody in their right mind doesn't want to go back to repeating history, okay? We have all these grifters on the conservative side of things telling you that things were better back then. And maybe they were simpler. I don't know if they were better. And to have black people out here freaking saying that I want to go back, like, if you go back so far, you'll end up a slave, not taken seriously, have no voting rights. As a woman, okay, the same situation. To this day, we're still not taken seriously. And that's why Roe v. Wade can get overturned in the first place, because, I don't know, old men think that they know better than we do. Still pisses me off. As it should. And I'm just like, if you're not pissed off right now, then you should be. As a person of color, as a woman, you should be pissed off. How the rest of the world is trending, how the rest of the world treats women, okay? This is not it. This is not it. And it's never been it. And I don't know if it'll ever be it. You know what I'm saying? Because this can never be a utopia. Can never ever be a utopia. For that, we would have to have an actual dystopia where people are all forced to live the same way, think the same way. And that's how you're going to get artificial happiness, because nobody's thinking about anything. Not a damn thing. Because as long as you have differing ideas on how to run things, society will never be a utopia. Sure, you know, I think that it's good to have diversity. It's good to have differing opinions when it comes to something. It'll definitely make better policies, stronger communities. You know, it'll bring creativity to the table, which is more than often a good thing. But as long as we have other people who believe that their idea is the right idea and there's no room for middle ground, like women getting abortions, women having rights to their bodies, gay people being allowed to marry each other, adopt kids, have happy lives. As long as we have people saying that we need to go back, which is always going to be a red flag to me, because, you know, like, other than maybe like the late 1900s maybe, which is like a nostalgic period for everybody, because I guess not too much was going on, or people weren't aware of shit that was going on at the time. Like, it's never been better for anybody back then. Do you want to go back to burning witches at the stake, to freaking being superstitious, for not like caring about facts or relying on facts or using facts to actually make decisions in government? Do you want to go back to religion, freaking being the end all, the voice of reason? Nobody wants to go back to that, or at least nobody in their right mind wants to go back to that. But I guess the majority of people in society right now are not in their right mind. It's not family's not reflecting being in their right mind right now. Willful ignorance, it's all around. Okay, and that's like the true sickness of society, is willful ignorance. Sure, there are some things that are out of our control, or a lot of things that are out of our control, but just ignoring them and hoping somebody else will fix the issue is not going to fix the issue. Like, I'm just saying, when did ignoring anything ever solve anything? Unless maybe in parenting, where you can ignore your child's tantrums and they'll know that that's not an effective way to get mom's attention anymore. Then move on to something else. No, the root issue wasn't solved. I don't know why your kid is having tantrums. Some of it is normal, some of it is not. I mean, I'm not a parent for good reason. I won't be ever. I know some people are like, praise the parents who had kids. A lot of child-free people are like, oh, I'm they're doing God's work, because I could never. No. You did it for you. And to see parents out here complaining about their kids and how they didn't turn out the way that they wanted them to. Oh, woo-hoo. Your little crotch slave didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. Any reason to have a child starts with I want. It's not for them. It's for you. It's one of the most selfish things you can do on this planet, next to eating meat at every meal. At every fucking meal. Or eating meat in general, like just at all. Any animal product, any consumption of an animal product is a selfish endeavor. Feel free to prove me wrong in the comments, but like, unless it's for health reasons, and again, very rare few people actually rely upon meat. We're not talking about indigenous communities. We're talking about people here in Western countries, developed countries, where you have the option to go into a grocery store and pick between a plant-based option and an animal product. If you are actively choosing the animal product for no reason other than because I like it, that's selfish. Hello, my fellow anti-natalists. I know some of you don't want to hear this, or most of you, nobody wants to hear about something they need to change in their life. And I think being anti-natalist is probably easier for most people than it is to be vegan, because, you know, if you didn't have kids in the first place, then you haven't really missed out on anything. I guess if you're planning on having kids in the future, anti-natalism would be hard to swallow. And it's the same thing with vegans. If you're planning on having kids in the future and you're a vegan, it'll be hard to swallow, but having kids is selfish, okay? Yes, I know a lot of things that we do on this planet selfish. You could call a child-free person selfish for wanting to prioritize their money, their time. But there are no unselfish reasons to have kids. Whereas not having kids, you have the environment, you have the animals, because that kid could go on to eat animals like most of this planet does. They will feel left out, they'll grow up in school and wonder, why the hell is everybody else eating differently from me? I want to be just like them. It happens all the time. You think you can just be vegan and raise your kid vegan? You're gonna be sorry. You're gonna end up on the vegan subreddit talking about, I'm so sad because my vegan child started eating meat and like I don't know what to do. You shouldn't have had them in the first place. If people stopped being so goddamn selfish all the time, we would be able to actually fix things on this planet. Yes, even if you're an anti-natalist and you eat meat, you're selfish. And I don't care about your sad sob story about how veganism will fix nothing and how having kids will do a world's difference versus going vegan. And yeah, it's not false in that regard that yes, the best thing you can do for the planet is to not have kids. That's the number one thing. Nothing tops that. Nothing tops not making another person to also start consuming products that are unsustainable. Nothing tops that. But what comes after that, right down below it, is veganism. So don't hold yourself up to the standard and be like, oh, like I already chose not to have kids, so I deserve to eat meat. I don't know why you feel like you deserve the body parts and excretions of animals who are in slavery, because there's no other way to look at it. They are literally enslaved. Go watch any slaughterhouse footage, even the mild ones. Go see a tour of a dairy farm. They're enslaved. So you can have cheese on your pizza. I know a lot of you be like, I don't care though, but me though, I need it so bad, or I don't care about their livelihoods. Sometimes you just gotta prioritize your own happiness. Imagine if anybody, but I imagine a lot of people had said that during prior movements, whether it was for slavery, for women gaining the right to vote, for women gaining rights in general, for literally any freaking suffrage movement, people would use that freaking logic. So I don't know why you think you can use the same old sad logic to justify your selfish actions. The dystopia subreddit exists for a reason, because literally all of this is dystopian. I know a lot of you have a hard time empathizing with things outside of humanity. Some of you even have a hard time empathizing with humanity itself, your own fucking species. But I give you 3 good reasons. Here, even 4 reasons to stop caring about yourself. Or even, even yourself can tie into one of these 4 reasons, okay? Because environmentally, if you want a future, stop eating meat. If you plan on having kids, stop eating meat, because this is unsustainable. And the only way you can have your cake and eat it too is lab-grown meat. But we have states like Florida and Alabama banning that shit because they're too afraid to try anything new. I know a lot of you will be like, ew, no, I don't want to try lab-grown meat. It's made in a lab. I want my stuff to be real, okay? I want it to come from an actual suffering animal. Says a lot about you, buddy. The environment, 1 reason. Number 2, for the animals. And that's literally the only reason to be a vegan would be for the animals. Okay, if you don't care about the animals, you don't have to necessarily care about the animals to be vegan, okay? You can just not abuse them. You can just not contribute to them being abused. Okay, the vast majority of humanity, I don't care about. But I don't find it justified. I don't find joy in seeing them in pain. I don't find joy in seeing humans hurt. Okay? So you don't have to like something. But it's just respect, okay? It's about respect. I think that all living beings are deserving of respect. Plants included. For those of you who say, oh, you're a hypocrite because you're taking lives eating plants. Plants don't have a central nervous system. And I'm not going to say that they don't feel pain. But in an evolutionary standpoint, it makes no sense for them to feel pain if they don't have the capacity to move. You know what I'm saying? Animals, humans, non-human animals, we all have pain receptors because it tells us when we need to flee a situation, when we need to run for our life, when our lives are at risk. I don't know why, like, having pain would benefit a plant in that regard. Also, lots of plants. You could be a fruitarian, which I don't recommend. Don't be a raw food vegan, because that's not very sustainable. A lot of people go vegan or raw food vegan and then they don't last because they don't feel well, they're not getting their calories, they don't have enough things to eat. I would not recommend that. But yes, trees, literally, they're, from an evolutionary standpoint, they want us to eat the fruit, because when animals eat the fruit and then shit out the seeds, that grows into another plant, and so that helps them pass around their seeds and allows them to grow more plants and trees and stuff like that. So no, the tree does not care if you eat the fruit. The fruit will literally drop when it gets bad and old. Like, not all plants don't want to be eaten. Anything that you harvest from can grow back. For some plants, like freaking cutting or trimming them actually is healthier for them. So it's not the same. Like, people, of course, they'll laugh at you for being an animal rights activist in this day and age, but if you go a step further and try to be a plant activist, nobody will take you seriously. And even if you cared about plants, again, more plants are fed to the animals so that y'all can eat the animals, versus how many plants it would take to just feed humanity. Food for thought. Again, if I didn't think about this, I wouldn't have come to this conclusion. I put a lot of time and thought into this, and literally, like, the only conclusion that I came up with was, damn, I guess I gotta go vegan now, because I don't like the cognitive dissonance. I don't want to be a hypocrite. And suffering reduction is very important to me. I don't know what matters more in life than suffering reduction. Why does it matter if most people are happy if we can't fix the reasons why a lot of people are suffering or sad? And I don't think any good society would be built off the backs of exploitation, suffering, and the murdering of billions of animals a year, or a day, for that matter. If this is the best that we can do as a society, then I think it deserves to burn. Climate change is sad. Again, people are losing their lives, they're losing their homes, but all around society is just sad. It's always been built off the back of suffering, off of exploitation, just in some other form of species. I will die on this hill, but veganism to me is the ultimate form of feminism. You can't say that you're against females being treated like shit, and you pay for other female, even if it's a different species, to be treated like shit. Okay, cows are literally raped. Have some guy with some glove stick his hand in her freaking vagina and inseminate her so that y'all can get your dairy. It's all fucked up. If it changes, it'll have to be forced. Like most changes are, they're usually forced. The slave movers didn't start to think, hey, maybe we should give these slaves rights. Like, I feel so bad for having them pick my cotton all day and for making my life easier. Like, most people don't think that, okay? The slaves had to fight for their rights. Animals can't fight for their rights. And so they've been exploited, enslaved for years, for centuries, for literally all of humanity's existence. And I love people who say, oh, you know, why should I care about them if they don't care about me? I'm like saying, why should I care about homeless people if they don't care about me? Why should I care about women in the Middle East if they don't care about me? Why should I care about the kids in Gaza if they don't care about me? What type of approach is that? How does that ever solve anything? To want to change something because it benefits you. Think outside yourselves. Like, really, that's the only way we're gonna actually change something, make meaningful change on this planet. Again, it will never be a utopia. And for that fact alone, I will never bring a child into it. Again, anti-natalism exists for a reason. There's no reason to bring a kid into this world other than for some selfish reason of your own. And so we continue the cycle of trauma. based on the selfishness. I need, I want. I, me. It's always me. And until that stops, no collapse. And that's not gonna stop anytime soon, so collapse is around the corner. I'm pretty sure I will see it during my lifetime. I don't know. Like, I don't know anything. Nobody knows for sure what's gonna happen in the future, but we can make predictions. And the predictions right now are trending towards we will be forced to change because nobody will willingly make the change. And no, collapse is not gonna be fun. People are gonna be dying left and right. There's gonna be a lot of destruction due to natural disasters that aren't so natural anymore because we've just thrown the earth out of proportion. Like I said in my text, y'all can join the party early, or you can wait till it's on your doorstep and be forced to change. Your current actions do still affect, like honestly, if it was just the environment, I'd say, yeah, it's okay, maybe join an animal product every now and then, because I think we're doomed anyways, like, to be honest. But your actions have actual real victims. Most people don't want to watch slaughterhouse footage. I wonder why. Maybe it's because you think that there'll be something that needs to change, and that's what we're trying to tell you. It needs to change. Stop building your happiness off of the backs of suffering sentient creatures. Would you do this to your dog? Do you think that your dog being stuck in a cage, and yeah, there are some shitty dog owners, to be honest, but there are also some shitty parents. A lot of humanity is just full of shitty people. That's just the gist of it. I'd like to believe that the majority of us are inherently good or think that we're doing good, but someone on Reddit said this quote with me: you can have well intentions, but if you're leaving a friggin' trail of dead bodies behind you, it doesn't really fucking matter in the end. You're actually causing suffering. You are paying for suffering. I know. It's hard for a lot of us to even think about changing because, I don't know, life is hard as it is enough already, right? Can barely, not exploit people with our purchases, so why should we worry about animals? And I guess the real question is, when will we ever worry about them? Because this will never be a utopia, so they'll always be constantly put on the back burner. We will never have a peaceful time in history to care about them. So the movement is now, okay? The right time to care is now. To care about your environment, to care about the animals, to care about slaughterhouse workers, to care about your health. No, not everybody is going to feel magnificently different on a plant-based diet. A lot of people do, but it's not for health, okay? It's for ethics. It's for doing the right thing. It's for stopping slavery, okay? We don't like when our phones come from slaves, so we can buy secondhand or we can advocate. It also starts with the government. Vote better, but choosing not to eat animal products is something that you have the power to do every day. Society has always been dystopian. It will always be dystopian. If you're okay with that and you want to bring kids into that, then I don't know, go ahead, be a selfish parent, because your happiness matters more than somebody else's happiness. And again, there are times where yes, you do need to prioritize yourself, but if you're prioritizing yourself every day over a simple choice of food or having kids, then you probably need to rethink what your values are, if you have any. What do you value? What do you think is important? What can we do to be better as a species? Because there's a lot that we can do to be better. But what will make the most impact right now? What can we do right now? Environmentally, don't have kids. Eat plant-based. You don't even have to be vegan. I'm just advocating for you to eat less animal products. Okay, but don't say you care about animals though, because you don't. You can say, oh, I love dogs, and then go ahead and pay for somebody to abuse dogs, slit their throats so that you can have dog meat. Guess you love dog meat in your stomach. What does love mean to you? Don't come out here saying you love animals. Don't freaking go around taking pictures of wildlife and losing your shit over some exotic looking species, because you're a hypocrite. You don't really care about animals. You care about pets.
It's a completely different thing. Just another form of speciesism. If anybody should go vegan, it's pet owners or animal lovers, self-proclaimed animal lovers. You think it would be easy for them? I had a roommate who was sad to see what happened to killer whales at SeaWorld and other organizations like that. Even she knew deep down. She's like, yeah, I know, like, I say I love animals and it's probably, like, really bad and I should probably, like, go vegetarian or something, but, like, I really like meat. So you don't love animals then? I don't care what you say, but if your actions aren't following, then that's it. That's the gist of it. You don't care. You can't say, I care about slaves, and then continue to contribute to slavery. No, you don't. It'd just be easier if people could just be honest with themselves. No, you don't care about the environment. Otherwise, you would stop eating meat, okay? Another type of people who should definitely be eating plant-based or go vegan. Environmentalists, okay? You don't even have to be on the list of lactose intolerant, environmentalist, animal lovers. Like, you don't have to be on the list to do something, to actually make actions to make this planet better. I know some of y'all actually want this place to burn, and most of me does too, but I don't want to contribute to suffering. I don't know, like, why anybody in their right mind would want to contribute to suffering and brag about it. Like, you're just a sick person. It's a sickness. To say, oh yeah, I know I'm contributing to suffering, but I don't care. I feel happier for it. Why would anybody feel happy about making the lives worse for other people? Again, you can go plant-based for humans. Again, vegan is only for the animals. It's a philosophy that centers around the animals. But you can make it there through other decisions. If you care about slaughterhouse workers, if you care about the environment, which would also therefore benefit you, your future, your fellow humans, if you only care about humans. Antibiotics are a whole other thing. Like the antibiotics that they're pumping into animals, freaking making us susceptible to stronger diseases that we can't fight off because our bodies are so used to antibiotics. Another problem. Like, again, like the rabbit hole of animal agriculture goes very deep. Like, there are no good reasons to consume animal products. I'll be making another video on this about how it's basically an addiction at this point, because isn't it like an addiction something that you know is bad for you but you can't stop doing? How else would you frame it? Leave it in the comments. Not in a capitalist society, not in a socialist society. We can rebuild it, and I'm hoping we will, because capitalism ain't it. And I do believe we have the capacity to do better. It's just about starting with it. People say that they want better for this planet and then continue to pay for things that are destroying it every day. Don't tell me you care, okay? If you know all this, you are informed. Okay, being ignorant is a different story. If you didn't know, now you know, okay? There are no good reasons to consume animal products. None. Nada. You can go down that rabbit hole, you will find the answers in the end. Some people will tell you otherwise. Again, people love hearing good news about their bad habits. I don't know why there would be all this information out here when big meat, big dairy has so much to gain from it. And again, meat is only cheaper because of the subsidies, the government subsidies. So we need to get subsidies in the right place. Vegan food can be more expensive if you're buying processed. Whole food, plant-based, cheap as fuck, okay? And there's so many like recipes, YouTubers online that will show you recipes that are nourishing, that'll give you everything that you need, that'll make you feel good. Like, in this day and age, we have a wealth of information. You don't have much of an excuse anymore other than because I want to, because I can. A lot of people, their reasoning is because it's not illegal, which is terrible. Those are the type of people you want to watch for, because those are the type of people who will be like, well, I mean, if rape was legal, then what's holding us back? Morals. Just because something is legal doesn't make it okay. Just because something is illegal doesn't mean that it's not okay. Homosexuality is illegal in a lot of countries. Female genitalia mutilation is freaking legal in some countries. Legality does not equal morality. Doesn't mean that it's right just because some old farts up in the government decided, hey, this makes me uncomfortable, so I don't want it to be legal. Cough, cough, abortion. Look beyond what you can see. Please. Like, our livelihoods seriously depend on this. No, it's too late. Climate change is still going to progress. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Again, we have the power to change. It's about getting individuals to do it, because the government can try to put up whatever it wants, but people are going to be like, no, I don't like it. The government is controlling me. Tear it down. They'll vote it away again. We need individual change. Yes, corporations should pay for how much they're also destroying the environment. Okay, billionaires should pay for how much they're destroying the environment. Taylor Swift with her freaking private jet. Elon Musk, all of them with their private jets. Flying from one point to the other unnecessarily. They need to pay as well, okay? But we can't just keep giving the corporations money and expecting them to make the change for us. That's not how it works. If they keep making money off of us, why would they change? What incentive do they have to change? You could say that you only care about yourself, but I guess, I don't know, you're fine with watching the world burn. You're fine with watching other people suffering. You're fine with paying for animals to suffer for something that you don't even need. You might think you need it. And that's where I was at like a year ago, before I made the switch to vegetarianism. That's where my boyfriend was, literally a couple weeks ago. And once you get used to it, once you try it out, you realize it's really not that bad. Like, there are so many like ways to be creative. I enjoy cooking a lot more now than I used to, because I get to try out so many different recipes. And it feels good knowing that I'm not contributing to slavery, to exploitation, to suffering. Again, it's not just the animal suffering. The animal suffering should come first. It's the one being directly affected by this. But like, again, deforestation, climate change, methane emissions, slaughterhouse workers, your future. So many people in general are going to suffer from this. And a lot of people shouldn't even be eating dairy anyways. A large percentage of humanity is lactose intolerant. Okay? So I don't know why we decided to normalize continuously drinking the milk from somebody else's udders. Like, no other species does that. Not the gorillas, which are our closest, in terms of species, the closest to us. We are the only ones who find this need to drink from titties every single day. It's weird. It's so weird. It's so fucking weird. I didn't see it, but I also was one of the ignorant people who thought that cows were just they just produced milk all the time. Like, until it clicked that they're mammals, just like us. And I wouldn't want to be put in that situation where I'm being milked all day and getting forcefully impregnated with my calf taken away from me. Literally right after it's born, so that other people can enjoy my milk. That's fucking weird. Veganism is the ultimate form of feminism. Prove me wrong. Prove me fucking wrong. It starts with us, okay? The movement always starts off small. It's not easy. Fighting for the rights of people back then, not easy. We're still fighting for the rights of people today. Still not easy. Okay, being on the right side of history has never been easy. You don't just go, oh, well, everybody else is doing it, so it must be right. No, that's not how it works. It starts with us. So a small little vocal amount of people, we slowly gain traction, changing the hearts and minds of people around us. Again, I understand if you want the world to burn. And as an anarchist, I would love to see some of these institutions overturned. I'm sick and tired of capitalism. I'm sick and tired of money being more important than anybody else's life. Like, it makes no sense to be pro-life and then to freaking put money above the livelihoods of everybody. If you don't have money, you can be homeless because you're useless to society because you don't have green paper or these digits in your bank account. Like, it's stupid. Yes, and I agree it needs to be overturned. But I don't think you can be a real anarchist without literally dismantling everything. You can't be an anarchist and say, yeah, I don't want some authority telling me what to do, and then forcing other animals to deal with that. It's slavery, point and blank. Animal agriculture is slavery. Anyways, I've been talking for like an hour now. I think I've made all the points I wanted to make. Like, I can go on a rant on this for a long, long time. At the end of the day, like, it's up to the people to listen. I can talk to the wall. And it feels like I'm talking to the wall half the time. I feel like I would, getting more reception from the freaking wall. At least, the wall doesn't give me stupid excuses about why we shouldn't be doing things. Just do better. And you can do better. And you can do better. And I know it's uncomfortable. Change is always uncomfortable. But you can do it. Okay? You can do it if you truly want to. No, being vegan will not fix all of your issues. It's not perfect. There are crop deaths. There are insect deaths that meat eaters only ever care about when veganism is brought up to them, not because they actually care. And we can't get better at those things if we don't get better overall with the animal agriculture. I want better. Just because I'm vegan doesn't mean that I've stopped trying to make the world a better place. Why would I just be here and not try to make the world a better place? We all look at these people who only prioritize themselves and we don't like them. Okay, we don't like them. So why would we want to be that? Okay? Stop thinking about just yourself. Start thinking about the bigger picture here. We are all connected on this planet, whether we want to be or not. And so what we're doing here in America is affecting smaller countries and vice versa. But mostly Western countries are responsible for the deforestation and climate change happening in developing countries. That's the truth of the matter. We can do better and we choose not to. So why do we have to take everybody else down with us? Y'all can always complain and, cry about wanting it to be better, but do something. Just do something. Please vote. This election is very close, and it shouldn't be. Some people who have brains who are functioning like they don't have one. Anybody with a lick of empathy, the lick of self-respect, respect for this country, respect for people in other countries. You know what to do. I've already said everything that needs to be said. Y'all know what to do. Feel free to comment. Again, even if you're a hater and you want to help boost the video, comment. Please. I beg you. I urge you. Come tell everybody your God-given reasons for causing unnecessary suffering. Or come tell everybody why you believe in the all or nothing fallacy. Since we can't, we're having trouble freaking fixing issues for other people, we should just not do anything at all. Whatever your justifications are, put them in the comments. Thank you for watching. I really hope we can do better, but I don't expect us to, because again, even as somebody who is actively trying to get people around them to do better, I really don't think that we will get out of this. But I can't complain about something if I don't try. How they say, don't complain about the government if you don't vote. Well, it's the same thing here. Don't complain about the environmental issues if you're not actively trying to offset your own emissions. Educate yourself, please. Do not go along with everybody else just telling you to stick with the status quo, because what is that doing for us? Absolutely nothing. I still have a whole pile on the ground here that I need to clean up. But I at least made some progress, even though I was yapping this whole time. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting my channel. Appreciate you all. Maya out.